Hello there, people of the internet. My name is Dua Jagero, and this is Dialogues with Jagero. A lot of people on the internet told me that I should not be eating on set, that I should just stick to our coffee, and that would be that. And thank you very much for that feedback. I am sorry for having disturbed your ears with me munching chips and other things. It was very uncouth of me. I take solace in the fact that I'm a villager. And that's what. So this is Felgonah Oyuga. You know, I was almost saying Oyugi.
No, I'm going to start charging you.
Yeah, you can push the microphone just close to you a little bit. We are going to be talking about how to date an African man. And I asked, I am an African man, so I am really this is going to be very interesting on how I should be dated, you know. A lot of women are out there saying that it's very difficult to date here in the country, to date here on the continent. And there are things that they're not doing right. And we want to hear from Felgonah. Felgonah, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I hope you liked your bread.
I did.
We had to eat it out of set because our jamaa walipiga mayowe. Jagero, it is disgusting. A lady told me it's disgusting you chewing in my ear while listening to an interview to a guest. Mm-hmm. So even though I know I should know how to take tea. You know?
Mpaka sasa uko na trauma.
Niko na trauma. Walinitusi watu wa internet bana. And these people, they're not helping me, they're not supporting me, they're not sending me money, but this podcast, suddenly it is now theirs.
Yes.
You know, theirs to dictate what I eat, what I do.
And how to eat it.
But it's fine. Mm-hmm. So, Felgonah, I am an African man.
Yes.
And I would like to know, why did you write the book called How to Date an African Man?
It's actually how to have a relationship with an African man.
That's different from dating?
Yeah, dating is short term, might not be there for. But the relationship now covers all that. It will be the dating, it will be the marriage, you know, and before and after. You know, there's before and after care in this relationship with an African man.
Yeah.
So I've been writing for a while now, and I used to have a column on one of the dailies, and my topic basically, I did an opinion piece, and a lot of it was, of course, from experience, mine and other people's, on relationships with African men. There's a lot of talk amongst us, you know, how does this relationship work? It doesn't make a lot of sense. We really struggle a lot with the relationships
as women
and men. And men. So we struggle with each other quite a bit, and so I decided, okay, how can I put my experience, other people's experiences, a bit of research, put it together and see if it makes sense. Okay, so I wrote the book a few years back based on my experience and other people's experiences, and just try to have an honest look at what we were doing. A lot of what we do is things we read about when we were younger, the movies we watched, and they were very nice movies to watch. And you have to give it to these Americans and their movies. They know how to sell something, even if it's nothing. And one of the things they sold was romance, romantic love, the idea of being swept off your feet, your heart racing, butterflies. And we've only just realized right now that when you have those feelings, it's actually a red flag. It's not that you like the person, it's that you are anxious around that person. So it's probably not the right fit. So I decided to look at it this way. What exactly is it that we want from men? and make it ours. That's why I'm specific to African men, because I'm talking to African women. Make this relationship ours, not that thing that we have been seeing on TV. What is romance to you? What is and also, we are not romantic, we are not made that way. So what is your love language? Really, that's what we should be focusing on. Like, what is it, what would make you feel loved? And this thing that will make you feel loved, is it something you also do for yourself, or is something you have seen? Because we talk about, I want flowers, and there are very many people who don't even like flowers, but for them, because you saw it somewhere, that's a love language, that's not your expectation. Whereas somebody else's love language is making sure you're fed. And African men tend to be that way. And people will be laughing at you, oh, if you go out with a certain generation of men, that man will be sending you food. I had a boyfriend a boyfriend that my friends used to call Carrot, because he used to bring me carrots and cabbages and maybe a mugu of a kaleg when he goes to the farm. That was his love language, that, at least food-wise, people at least can eat this for 1-2 weeks, and you're comfortable. So it's learning that and not finding that, oh, this man is quote-unquote shady, or is boring, or is old school. How can he bring me cabbages? When others are getting flowers. It reminds me of a story also that somebody had given another time. So, women, when we sit together, there's sometimes, in this Nairobi, people lie a lot. We can really lie to each other. So people would be in a group, and this one woman would be saying, oh, my husband cannot sleep without bringing me this. Every evening he brings me flowers. He will call me during the day. We go for dinner. And this other one who's been sitting down, and the husband does not bring anything. He's thinking, when me, I'm not loved. What's wrong with this husband of mine? And goes home, and she's so upset, like, oh, other men are doing this, you are not giving me that. And the man asked her, what do you want? Do you want a roof over your head and food, or do you want flowers and dinner outside? Because for me, I think I love you. That is why I've put you in a house that you're not paying rent. And I've put you, I'm making sure you're eating every day and you don't have to do 1, 2, 3. For me, I think I love you. But you are thinking you're not loved because somebody didn't bring you dead plants. So it's that type of thing where we are saying, can we examine ourselves and really figure out what it is that we want, without that romance. Because for me, I don't think romance exists. It's a concept somebody came up with. Because what is that? If I like you, you like me, what is this sweeping off the feet? What is this whole production we are trying to put? It's like a movie we are creating. That isn't life. And that's where we go wrong, because then you find a man who knows this is what you want, and if he wants to manipulate you, he'll make sure you have flowers today. Tomorrow he'll take you for dinner. Sometimes you're told, okay, I'll take you to Diani, and then you think it's love, and then he does whatever it is he feels like, and then he goes. And then you're left there wondering, oh, I thought he loved me, he used to take me to Diani. He can take anybody to Diani. Yeah, but does he want to build a life with you? Yeah.
The book starts at some point. It starts with let me tell you how many ways this content was harmful to us. For one, we equated love to sex. This book made us think that the more sex you give a man, the more he grew to love you.
And we always thought that was the thing we could, we were told that is the thing that you can give a man. First of all, it started with virginity, that you keep yourself a virgin until the day you find the man. And then those days we were told until you get married, but it was you give that man. You give him and he takes. It's such an imbalanced concept. Yeah. So you gave him sex, and now you wanted to give him so much sex so that he could love you. And that's why you see these sexologists make so much money. Because everybody wants to give their husbands the craziest sex so that he now finds you exciting, loves you and whatnot. And which is really unfair. Because, sex is sex. And that man, the worst thing is
sex really sex? Why are you lying to me, Felgonah?
No, sex is sex until you are mature enough to have a certain sex with a certain person. Otherwise, it's just putting in body parts and removing others. Because if there is no connection, then sex is just sex. It's just release. And usually release for the man. And for the woman, she's thinking, I can build a connection. The connection comes before. that sex. You can't create it. So many people used that sex to get into a relationship. I didn't give the man the sex until we got married. So I told him I can't give you sex until we are married. So we got married, then now it's the sex. Now she's had the sex. Now she has mission accomplished. So now he's looking for other things to do. Then you realize, oh, I need to keep my marriage. I look for a sexologist. And we did it. I mean, there's no shame in it. If you did it, you did it. When you don't know, you don't know. Then when you know, you do better, isn't it? So we did it. We would be running around this town at night like witches, like evil spirits, looking from, those days it was a secret. Those sex talks were a secret. So there was somebody from Tanzania, there's somebody from Uganda. You're looking for all the places where we have been told those stereotypes. These people have the best sex. If it's somebody from Coast, they know how to keep a man because they know how to have sex. If it's somebody from Uganda, they know how to keep a man because they know how to have sex. If it's somebody from Tanzania, that type of thing.
Did that turn out to be a lie?
It did, because there's nothing like really what is it that you're going to teach somebody on how to have sex? It's instinct. When a man and a woman are in the same place, you don't even have to tell them anything. Just put a man and a woman together in a room. They don't even have to have met each other. But at some point, their bodies will start. You might not even talk to the person, but there's a way your body will feel towards this person. There's a way your body will react, both men and women. It's not that we have been taught to suppress or to pretend it's not there, but sit with a woman in a room, the two of you like this, and the whole day, and tell me nothing will happen unless you don't like women or unless she doesn't like men. Yeah, but your body will react to that person. Yeah, so there's nothing you're going to teach people about how to have sex. Sex is the most natural thing, but because we have made it something to be sold, it's become a good to be retailed or something. Now we come up with things. Oh, you must squat. Oh, you must do 3 times. Oh, if it's not 3 rounds, each lasting 15 minutes, then I don't know it's doing what. Oh, if by the time you do the leg is not doing what. We have some very crazy things. And I'm wondering, many people didn't survive before these days, before we're taught how to shake our legs and swing from chandeliers.
Can I ask you something sex-wise, now that you're the one who has brought it up?
Yes.
Do you think that a woman can only enjoy sex if the end result is an orgasm?
No. It's interesting because I was having that discussion with somebody the other day, and you can eat a good meal and not get full. I can taste it. It's a good meal. I'm not full, but I will not fault anybody, isn't it? I'm not going to. Yeah. So maybe at that time I really didn't want to sit down and get full. But also, there's no reason why she shouldn't. There's really no reason why she shouldn't. Because again, it depends on what it is you want. If you're in a relationship, it's not always that I'm going to get to a climax, maybe, because sometimes we need sex for different things at certain times. And if you know each other, then you figure it out. That's my take. You'd be in a relationship with somebody and they need some sort of comfort, for example. And you would do that for them, where I know I might not do something that would get me to where I want to be, but at this point I'm focusing on my partner. So what does he like? Maybe likes a blowjob or he does or whatever. Because he's going through something, I would do it for him because I know he likes that thing. But it's not every time we get into a bed, it is a competition of who is going to climax first or who is climaxing and who isn't, and whose fault it is and who it isn't. That is now commercialization of sex, where you say, I must do this, the waters must be from here to there, the bed must be soaked. It's rubbish, it's childish. It's more pornographic. If you want, if it has its own industry. That's a different industry. Because even in a relationship, even leave sex out of it, we're not always going to be happy. I'm not going to always like you, you're not going to always like me. You understand? But we have agreed, because we are adults, that we're in this thing. Let's figure out how this thing works. And sometimes we'll be like, no, I don't like this, or no, we don't do this here. There are some rules people set. There's some guidelines. Rules sound so. You can do some guidelines and say, here, this is what we're going to do. I have this issue. Sometimes I need to go into my own cocoon and digest, debrief, whatever it is I need to do. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you or there's something wrong with us. I just need time to step back. I can't manage people this way. And when that person knows that, then they also understand to give you space. They know when you are in your space, they know how to leave you to be, and then you're okay. So there's no competition that, I woke up and I said good morning and he didn't say good morning, and then I'm the one who made the tea yesterday and then he didn't make it. That's like having kids, because my children behave like that. Yeah. But when you're in adulting, it's not a competition. And that is why it has to be with somebody you have a connection with. That is why it has to be somebody you are on the same page with. That is why it has to be somebody you don't have to perform for. Because right now we have a lot of performance sex. And a lot of businesses have been built on it. You have the sex toys, you have the lingerie and what have you. You have the
BDSM kits.
All those things. It's because we have to perform. Because I'm trying to get this person's attention so that you don't go to the next woman. So I'm always with something. You come back today, I have a whip. Tomorrow, I have a brassic, I don't know what. The other day, I'm dressed in a cobweb. Another day, I'm doing...
What is a cobweb?
The sheer, you look at it and you're wondering, where do I start with it? What do I put it from? You can do it if that's what you want. It becomes a problem when it's performance, when I'm using it to manipulate you. I'll also get tired.
Yeah.
So we need to stop this thing and a lot of it is because of all these things we've watched. And you think that's the only way I'm going to keep this man's attention. Men have gone out with farm animals. I'm sorry to put it that way. If a man wants something, even if it's a farm animal, how many of them will be found with chicken and goats and cows? And you are there trying to make sure your waist is this much and your hips are that much and your breasts are even bigger, just because you're trying to keep somebody's attention. Yeah. So when you reach that point when you're performing, I think that's a problem. Because somebody should just want to be with you for you. And you must also accept if they don't want you, then you must also move on.
Yeah.
Because you are then hurting yourself there and degrading yourself. So you can imagine, I had a friend one day tell me that he didn't want to go home. At that point, I don't want to go home. They were going through something. And he didn't want to go home because of whatever. But he was like, but they have problems. And instead of talking about the problems, when he goes home, the wife would have, you'll find petals. She's put petals. She's has candlelit. She's not, and the funny thing is, we keep saying as women that, men, the only thing men think of is sex. But you're always just giving them sex. You don't want to talk to him about anything. We have a problem. He's cheating on you, and instead of finding out, can this relationship work or not? What is this cheating about? You want to fuck him to uncheat you. It doesn't work that way. It reaches a point where you must talk until you figure out what happens.
Yeah.
So as Africans, those are some of the things. Again, as I said, how to enjoy your relationship is first you knowing that I am an adult, and knowing that as an adult, this person do they want to be with me, or do they want to have sex with me for today, or do they want a fling? You need to make things clear. And we don't like clarity. You'd rather I've met you today, now I want to go and pray for you for the next 15 days, dry fast, so that you can marry me. In the process, I am withholding any physical from you when I know that is what it is that's driving you. Because as you know, we all know when somebody wants you physically and there's somebody who really wants to know you. So then now I kind of manipulate all these things, and then, okay, you're also not stupid, because you should not get into a relationship knowing, you can't be led like a goat, but you've decided to be led like a goat. The man has said to be led like a goat, and the woman has reeled him in, and now you're married. Then now people wake up in the morning, you forced me to marry you. You tricked me.
You are big when it comes to women taking control of their lives and making conscious choices within their relationships. You say that you got married. You did not sell your soul to the devil. Or is somebody in a relationship, you can say, my dear, you got in the relationship, you did not sell your soul to the devil. Resentment in many relationships creeps in when you see your partner continues with his life. To live your life, you must let go of the thought that you can somehow control other human beings. What does that mean?
So the same thing, the way we are taught to manipulate things, and it becomes so difficult. And we use a lot of things to manipulate people. We use religion, we use sex, we will use emotional. There's some emotional things you can pull. Oh, if you leave me, I'll kill myself. If you leave me, I'll kill myself and the children. If you leave me, I'll kill you. There's all those things that people do because you're looking to control another entity. You can't even control your own child. That child that lived in your body 9 months, it came out. It reaches a point where that child will just do what they want to or what they were meant to do. There's nothing you can do about it. So this thing of getting married to somebody and then pinning everything on them, losing your individuality, losing your dreams, losing everything and holding on to them becomes a problem. So very many women will get married and then you even lose your friends. So you leave your friends. If you notice, there are more men who have childhood friends than women. Even if you like saying, oh, women are more social or whatnot, you find very many men who have friends who did the rite of passage with, they started primary school together, or they had, lived in the same village or estate. You find a lot of them carry their relationships to adulthood because they don't think they should stop their lives. If that man had always wanted to be a certain thing, he will continue wanting to be that thing. He will not stop his life. But you hear women saying it like, when she got married, she left all her friends because they were single. Now she wants married friends. So then she'll get those married friends. Then she will leave her job because the husband had said, or the husband doesn't like her coming at 4. Or very many strange things that should have been actually discussed before. Because if you are an individual on the onset, you'd have said, my life doesn't change. I want to be a lawyer, or I want to be a farmer, or I want to drive a matatu, or I want to be in business. And you should get somebody who then supports you as you support them. But for us, the way we have been taught good wives, we stop everything, we sacrifice everything, including our health, for a man and his children. Yeah. Then one day, when the man has decided he has reached his peak, because usually we like starting with them when they have nothing. Now he has something and he's decided type yangu sasa si huyu.
Why is it that you guys are always saying that you start with men when they are, kwani nyinyi mnakujanga na kitu?
Tunakujanga na vitu. A lot of things. If it's not and it doesn't have to be even at money.
Vitu gani mnakujanga na
encouragement, tunakujanga na inaitwa nini? Network. Sometimes you marry somebody whose father is something somewhere, and because of her father's network, you have gotten something. There's a lot that comes into play when you get a woman who knows how to play a supportive role. The only problem with women who know how to play a supportive role, they never get the right man. We don't get an Obama. The Michelle does not get Obama. Mm-hmm. We get something else. We get a Clinton.
Hey, what? See?
So, that is the problem that we have, where you have two people, either you know to play the supportive role, you've seen your partner's place, and you've seen also where you want to go, and you see that these two places can work together. They can complement each other. But we a lot of people will find, I give you everything, then you mess me up, then now I want to be what you are. So now we start competing. Or I now start, I did for you everything, I gave you everything, I gave you the best years of my life, I gave you children, I gave you, and everybody's like, nah, and who asked you to give? Nobody brought you here, you see. So those are the problems that we need to face. And some of the mistakes we made because we were so blinded by the idea of love and happily ever after that we did not think about the reality of things. And anybody who wanted to be real with us was just like, these people are backward. They don't know, modern love. The modern man does this. The modern woman does that. We did not sit down and actually think.
Do you think women always get into relationships with men to to have an happily ever after, a big
Yes.
church wedding,
Yes.
children.
Yes, and
that
a
will
good
love them.
family. Yes, because in fact, you see it even in the commercials. When they show the commercials of a family, it is a man and woman. They are happy. They
Eating
have a boy
chapati.
and a girl. You know, they have a boy and a girl. They have a nice house and a white picket fence. I remember
A white picket fence.
one of my ex's girlfriends had written him a letter when I was married, and I used to find things things around. One of them had written how she really prayed. I mean, her idea of marriage was that he was going to leave me, and they were going to be together, and they were going to take my children also in this happily ever after. They would take my kids, and they will be there with their white picket fence and a dog. I could not believe it.
A white dog. I'm
And
a brown one.
Maybe those white ones, the chihuahuas. So you see that type of thing. It comes up even when a woman is meeting a married man. She still expects that happy ever after. Fine, maybe she could have gotten the man, and maybe say even my children went to live with them, because their families are set up that way, those blended type families. But it was not going to be easy as a white picket fence and a dog. You are not going to be smiling all the time. But it's because of what we have constantly been fed. That, this is the ideal route. You'll get married in a church.
Yeah.
You'll wear a white dress, and it is going to be long and flowing, and your groom is going to be so handsome, and then you are going to have the biggest wedding. People are going to be talking about it all over the place. Then 9 months later, you'll have your first child, maybe a girl. You'll name after his mother. Then you'll have a boy. You name after his father. Maybe you have another girl, name after your mother. And then you start off in a 3-bedroom house. Then you're going to get this mansion, and you're going to be driving a car, picking children from school, and taking the dog to walk in the park. And then your husband is going to be bringing, and then he's going to be successful, and he's going to tell everybody how you are the reason behind his success. It doesn't happen that way.
They have seen all this in a movie, right?
It's in the movies.
At
It's
the
in
junction.
commercials. It is in the books. We
Parents
read.
magazine.
Yes, all of it is all good life, until you realize that first of all you picked somebody who didn't even know who he was, leave alone who he couldn't even see you, because he doesn't even know himself. But he's confused. He needs somebody. He needs some normalcy. He needs some stability. You offer that.
Yeah.
You offer that stability, isn't it? So now you think, I'm building my man, me and my man. And then women cheat themselves that because I don't ask for money, I'm not a gold digger, I'm a good woman. Me, I'm not thinking about money, so I'm good. So you're not asking for money, you're looking for money everywhere. You're pumping the man, you're pumping. You're all over the place.
We love
good
those
woman,
kind of
good
women.
woman, yeah, they like them. Then after 10 years, he has made it. Then he looks at this woman in the house, she looks like a goat to him now, because this is what I'm
Wale wa Instagram.
wale wa Instagram buddies. Sasa ndio wako. You look at those Instagram girls, and this woman reminds him of where he came from. Because every day, for me as a woman, and that's how we are made, if I started with you, I expect you to love me and are indebted to me for starting with you with nothing. I gave you my youth. I gave you children with big heads. Now, maybe my vagina is loose because of your big-headed children.
The vagina never becomes loose anyway.
I'm saying maybe. But they say anything. And then I had my children through C-section, so I don't know. Yeah, so I gave you all these things. I was there for your wicked mother. Your sisters were insulting me. Your brothers were sleeping with my maids. I couldn't keep a maid.
Oh my
everything
God.
that is happening. So I'm always reminding you. Always. When I met you, you only had one shoe. Even your boxers were torn. Even you had to go and buy you boxers, I bought t-shirts. So I'm always doing this because for me, I'm in pain. I can't believe I gave you everything and you have given me nothing. Now when you have something, you want to go out to have that thing outside there. Now that woman, I can't be that woman. And that is why you see, if you go to a lot of the gyms, they're married women. That is one sign that there's a problem at home. It's because now
they're farming their bodies.
you have to remember you come back.
Felgonah, you are not nice.
No, I'm just telling you. And these are things I'm not even talking about another woman. I'm talking And for me, I'm fortunate that
Yes.
God was good to me. I didn't become fat. But as I was dressing like an old woman. One day I went and bought a pair of shorts. And I didn't look back because I'm thinking, Allah, when you think me here, I'm through with everything. What I'll show you. One day I went and got a pair of shorts. He even asked me,
White ones or blue?
black ones.
Black ones.
And
The hot ones.
Yes.
The ones that go all the way up.
Small black. I remember that time when I bought them from, then it was Mr. Price. Before it was Mr. Price. So when Mr. Price had just come. And I remember I had a yellow top to match it, which I also bought. And I was like, I'm coming back. That's what I'm saying. It's so easy when you become older, you can tell by just looking at women who's enjoying themselves and who is not, no matter what they say.
In your book, you know so much about an African man. I wonder why you are talking about, you're referring to him as an African man rather than just a man. And then you say some things, talk about stereotypes, masculinity. For example, you say that an African man may not buy you flowers, but he will bring you one leg of a goat, a sack of potatoes, carrots, and cabbages. Do you think women do not know the African man?
I think we are with the African man, but see him through Hollywood.
How so?
Because we want things that they don't necessarily know. Somebody said even the other day, as girls, because for us girls, we obsessed over these things more than the boys did. For example, in my growing up, when we were busy reading Mills and Bones and wondering when we will start feeling these things, the man comes, kisses her, touches her, does this, does what. Our age mates, the boys, were in the field playing football. And they could play that football from morning to evening. They were there morning to evening.
Yeah.
So we started off with dolls. And then, and remember our dolls were white dolls with the hairs. And then, those are beautiful dolls. So you want to be beautiful. Your standard of beauty is already changed. And then our idea of romance, again, changed. But our boys were tied, in fact, many of them didn't even have the balls. They had tied those jewelers and they were kicking it from morning to evening. They only noticed us maybe now as we're going to Form 1, because at that time, now your breasts are starting to develop and whatever, but them, they don't know the romance you read. Them, they're just seeing the big boobs and the big bums. They've come from the field. So for us now, we have been listening to R&B, we have been reading these books, we were playing with white dolls.
While boys are kicking balls.
In the dirt. So our mind is so different. Our picture is different. So even the things we listen to, the music, when you came in, the smell of your perfume, your hair did what, the dress. So we're on a different level. So now we start looking at this man this way. And now that's how we started also now pushing the agenda to the men. Now it's when they got with the program, because you tell him, I want a card for Valentine's. He doesn't even know what Valentine's is. But now you have told him you want a card for Valentine's. So he will go and buy the card for Valentine's. Write me a letter. Some of the things they used to write, even I used to really feel sorry for those boys. Because they didn't, apart from the few who either had older siblings to help them write or were a bit, quote unquote, softer than the others, most men didn't even know what to write on those letters. They really tried. So you'd find that many men have said this. There used to be that one boy used to write, who used to be paid either by bread or something to write for others the love letters that they would send to their girlfriends, because they had no idea of this romance that we were talking about and that we were insisting upon. And then we've carried it over again in marriage, where we are so fixated on that wedding, that white wedding. We are so fixated on how people see us, because we want them to see us like that movie star, that movie whatever, and it makes us feel good when people say, hey, yani your wedding was like a movie, yani guys your romance is like a movie. It's so good for us. This man doesn't know half the things we are doing. Him is just going along for the ride. So by the time he realizes what he wants, is probably 35. You're with this woman here who sits on flowers, you don't even know what she wants. She sits on lighting candles every time you want to have sex with her, and you're wondering what her problem is. You want to smell raw, the fennel,
Sweaty.
whatever. Yes, as she has washed herself, you can't smell anything. She smells like plastic because now you don't even know what her natural smell is. You see, so that's why we don't know each other. We don't know each other. So now the man, the only place he can see some type of relationship is in porn. So that is his idea of love or connection or whatever, is having sex and having it in all the crazy ways. For us now, it wasn't even sex, it was making love. Now this one doesn't know how to make love. So he will do anything to try it the first time. So now he'll work with us and make love. But at some point now he wants sex. So now at this point again, now the Nini has tipped. We are now trying to keep him. So now we now look for all that porn type sex to keep his attention, because now he's been watching porn. That's the only sex he knows. So now we are trying to keep his attention. So now when somebody tells us, come, we're going to show you how to squat, we run there. We pay this much per person, pay. We are going to have live
porn. You should know that my friends are running the business of squatting.
There's one I know who sent me a text. Because every time I complain, it's just like, I'm in the business, I know it. I'm like, no, Nani, I'm a woman, I'm just telling you. Yeah, so, and I have no problem with business. I mean, get your money how you know how to get it, as long as you're not exploiting children. Any person who comes to you is an adult, so they have made their choice. So we cannot fault you on that. If you are selling to 12-year-olds, that would have been a different story. Yeah. So that's now how we are not balanced at all. We don't understand these men. Now we're giving them everything. They're not giving us anything. We are performing. They're not understanding, because again, there was no connection. We didn't know the African man.
Let's talk about the sensitive topic of women wouldn't like you for this. Because you tell them that polygamy is fine, is okay.
Yes.
And then unajificha, tunasema wengine wetu ni promiscuous to see ati ni polygamous.
Is the truth.
An African man is polygamous.
Or promiscuous.
He's first promiscuous or he's first polygamous?
He's either. Both. It can't be both. Either or.
Probably then we have to differentiate the two terms.
Yeah, so polygamy, I mean, it's easy. It's having multiple. Okay, I know that there's polyamory or whatever, where people want to do different. I mean, one woman, many husbands, but I'm more interested in polygamy. It's one man, multiple wives, where a man is conscious about that decision. He doesn't hide it. It's not a secret from anybody. He can stand with his wives. The other day we were seeing wives being introduced. That thing really hurts Kenyan women, and women are introduced by their husbands. Huyu ni bibi wa kwanza, huyu ni wa pili, huyu ni wa tatu. And usually it will trend, and African women will be all over the place. I don't know why. And they think those women are suffering, and those women have not said they are suffering. See, the others are coming. So number one was dead. Number two came and found number one. Number three came and found number 1, 2. Number 4 came found 1, 2, 3. Why do they keep going if it is a bad thing? There's something that they're finding there, and that works for them. Yeah. So polygamy is open. It's a type of marriage. It's accepted by law, and maybe Christians say that it was accepted in the Old Testament. Now they're in the New Testament. So the ones who follow old maybe can continue doing it. I don't know. There are those also who decided that Christianity refused to accept it. They formed their own sects. Like I explained to you, one of my sects, the sex in my village is called the Hera. You can marry multiple wives. That's why, hence these other sects that came out. They said we still want to be Christians, but we still want to practice some of our own African traditions. So they had their sects. So that's polygamy. A promiscuous man. I was going to say something, but I was going to say it's a Nairobi man, but I'm lying. It's not Nairobi. It's not all Nairobi men. But if somebody basically wants to take advantage, he is there for his own reasons, and is there for a short time, not a long time. He just wants to get what he can get without commitment. Yeah, and there are very many men like that that will come and they have those false promises and crybaby, whatever. So the promiscuous man can be married and can be single. He did not, because he's married, he has a wife who doesn't know that he has other things going on behind the scene. Yeah, so it is something done in the dark, whatever. He's always hiding you up and down and all over the place. Yeah, so that is. And he will not tell you the truth. A promiscuous man will tell you, niko na bibi wa kwanza na wa pili. So here, I'm courting you in the, thinking that, because I want to add another wife. So utakuwa girlfriend, you go through the normal process of girlfriend then. And he's not hiding. We've seen one of our leaders the other day, the girlfriend is out. He has, I think, 3 wives plus a girlfriend. They attended the other day and he didn't deny it. He said, I'm not denying that is my girlfriend. And these are his wives. That is a polygamous man. Yeah, these are the ones where you hear them. He said they are trending because they were found somewhere in a corner with somebody else. Now those are promiscuous men. Wanajifichanga huko. Yeah, so that's the difference.
And you are saying that an African man is polygamous, which is okay.
Yes. Which is okay, because you're not trying to take advantage of anybody. You're not trying to waste somebody. You have said this is somebody's child. Yes, come, you are going to get married. You are my wife. These are your co-wives. Nobody's hiding anything from you. Kama ni nyumba watu wanapewa, unapewa. If it is children going to school, children go to school. And the children know each other. It's not anything you're hiding from people. These are all your children. Nobody's saying, and when you tell somebody to accept polygamy, they think you're telling them to become friends with the other wife or wives. There are some who can manage each other and they like each other. Then there are some who don't like each other, and it's okay. You don't have to, because you're not staying in the same house, or even if you are, maybe you'll figure it out. But whatever condition you find yourself in, you're an adult in a room with somebody. You can be cordial without being friends. Yeah, everybody does what they're supposed to do. And it works. As long as, again, the man is a good manager. A polygamous man usually is a very good manager. Manager of time, resources, and resources, which mean even human resources, because the wives are human resources. And he knows his wives. He knows this one is good in business. You'll build that business. Because at the end of the day, if she's stable, he is stable. Yeah, the next one, huyu ni wakusoma, anapeleka paka master's PhD anafanya, he gets a job. The next one is, is employed. Mtafutie some employment somewhere, or she gets her own employment, and she goes on, and people leave. I don't know, people behave like, I don't know what, they've never experienced polygamy in situations at work.
What do you think is their gripe with polygamy then? It's selfishness that this is my man.
And that my man came from where? It came from these West things that we started with. Our grandmothers didn't have my man.
What did they have?
They had that man, he was the husband. And everywhere you went to say, this is my husband, but you went, this is my husband, and these are my co-wives. I mean, it wasn't anything big. The problem started when, first of all, like polygamy would not work if the man cannot afford those women. Yes, you might be polygamous, but you don't have to do it. I mean, no one is asking you to marry 20 wives at a go.
Must you afford a woman to be with her?
Yes.
No?
What do you mean? What are you going to take? You're taking her where?
Well, must I take her anywhere?
So where are you going to be?
I hope that you're enjoying this program. Over the last 15 years, I have been working online for clients in America, in Europe, and all over the world. And that is why it pains me a lot when I see a lot of African brothers and sisters saying that they do not have a job. Now, this is the problem. A lot of people are trying to look for a job in 2024 in their own town, in their local area. Now, the truth is, there are no jobs in Africa, at least not so many jobs. The good news is that we have internet these days. We have a tablet, we have a computer, we have a phone, and that means that we can do a lot of jobs, and those jobs are online. That is why over the last 4 years I've been writing a book that is called Digital Goldmine. It is a book that explains to you how you can earn money online. The 18 hustles that I've chosen are basically for Africans, because what happens when you are doing online jobs is that payment is usually a problem. So these 18 side hustles that I have put together in this book, you can be paid very well and very conveniently. Okay, so the book is only 1,000 Kenya shillings. That is about $10. You can buy it in Kenya using paybill number. You can buy it online from anywhere in the world using a credit or a debit card. All the information about this book is in the description below. And if you have a brother, you have a wife, you have a husband, you have a friend who is sitting at home and watching Netflix, please do buy this book for them. If you are the one sitting at home and watching Netflix and have nothing to do, please buy this book and your life is gonna change forever. Because I have been doing this online and I've been traveling and I've been enjoying myself and having a lot of fun. So thank you very much, and now back to programming.
When you take a woman, you want to take her.
Well, if Felgonah, you're working at Safaricom, I get you. No,
if I'm working at Safaricom, now, I'm looking at the CEO of Safaricom. if I'm customer care, the man that I want is the CEO of Safaricom.
You are not listening. Can you listen to my agenda? Because the problem that I keep having with women and how they talk about polygamy, and as an African man, I am saying I think something needs to be clarified. I don't think I'm getting wives to take care of.
They're not babies you're taking care of.
But the explanation that a lot of women are putting forward tends to give that,
that type of. But
yes.
if you heard me before, I said a polygamous man is also good with resources, and resources included human resource, where he's able to know from his wives where your strengths are.
Yeah.
You understand? So this one who is good in business might say, Baba Nani, I have identified this shop. The rent is 10,000 and I want to sell 1, 2, 3, and I think I can do good with 1, 2, 3. And you might say, okay, I only have 20,000. Here, take this 20,000, start with, let's see how it goes, isn't it?
And that is the problem that I'm having precisely.
No, but even go
you
back.
Are saying that as a polygamous man, I am the one who is supposed to be the manager.
Yes, you're the leader of that home.
I am the leader of the home, a macro manager, and I would like to have women that are that are sort of managers on their own. So what I am saying is, the explanation that a lot of women and people like you are fronting is that if you're a man, then you cannot be a Musa Oluwete.
No, you cannot be leadership.
So that's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that as an African man, and I don't even know what these women are coming to do now. So this is what I'm.
What do you mean they're coming to do? You're not bringing them.
Yes, and there is some lack, there is some void that they probably want to be filled. So that's what I'm saying I do not think that as a polygamous man in 2024 you need to have a lot.
No, you must.
Hear me out.
But I did not talk about a lot.
Hear me out. In fact, we can even have nothing.
No.
Listen, you can't even allow me to speak for 1 minute.
We can't have nothing.
Let me tell you. I am a man. Unaona vile nimejenga as an African man.
Yes.
I might not be having a podcast called Dialogues with Jagiro. I might not be having core media that I'm running, but I'm a good man. I know my shit. Listen.
How are you good?
Surely.
No,
you can't allow me to Then I get Felgonah, who is mwenye amesimama na miguu yake miwili. Is that the right Swahili?
I think you're asking the wrong people.
So wewe unafanyia Safaricom, you have your house in Kileleshwa, you have your car, you have your things set together, and so I will get you as my first wife, right?
Yes.
And you are doing well, we are doing well. And then, kidogo after some 3 years, I get another woman who is having her hardware in Kawangware. She's doing really, really well. She's having a business. And she's I go tell her that, we can live together. And then I take that one. And then I go for the third one, who is probably a CS in the Ministry of Agriculture, where they are doing mostly nothing during the day, but she has got a salary. And so I have these three women, wenye wamejiweza.
No, unafanya nini? You're good. You're good.
Do I have to do anything?
You're good.
Do I have to do anything?
That's good.
I have somebody as an exec at Safaricom. I have got somebody who's running a big hardware in Kawangware who is building things.
That's good. It doesn't work that.
Why must I have something to be somebody?
Even for yourself, even for other women. Can you imagine what it would do to you that you cannot even wake up in the morning and go for coffee? You must call a woman to give you money.
I'm not saying that.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Even for you, because it does something to a man. My grandfather always said this.
Yeah.
Have something for that woman, even if you are only selling cabbages, have something. I take it even further back. In the oldest traditional society, when you wanted to marry a woman, you had to show people what you're going to do with her. You remember there's a part of those marital whatever's function ceremonies, there's a part where the woman's people come to see where it is this girl of theirs is going and how she's going to live and what you're going to give her. That's part of, and I think almost all African the traditions, everyone has that thing where you must come to see. So you want to tell me they're going to come and you don't have anything? Even the respect, you must have something. So even that old, they would come and say, here's a hut, she's going to live in this hut. Here are 5 chicken, they're hers. Here are 10 goats, they're hers, and 2 cows. You understand? Then from there, she figures it out. You find that now she's a good manager.
I'm going to go to the hardware and say,
No, it's hardware to do what? She's going to give you for free because you're a good man. Even these women who are going to marry good men as but at some point, it will bring fiction because a woman, it's the way we were made. And I kept telling somebody that, and I think I've written about it also a lot of times. You might think a woman is a nag. It's because you're not a man. That's why she's not settled. She's anxious. She's nagging. She's not. Because I know you can't provide, and it gives you anxiety that at the end of this month, if I don't pay rent, it's me to pay rent because Jagero is a good man, he doesn't have money. But it's good. That goodness lasts 2 months. After a while, she will start insulting you with it. How can I be waking up in the morning, going to work, and they're just sitting here on the chairs, making for me holes on the sofa
while women can sit the whole day watching TV.
Which women sit the whole day? Which women? And I also don't understand men also, because there are some men who have insisted. I know of somebody who, and he complains about this. And when you sit with men, actually, there are men who complain a lot about certain things that they created, and I think that can be sorted with a conversation. Yeah. But I think they've reached a point where they don't know how to even have that conversation. So this man is saying that he met his wife. She was working. He was working, I think, also. Then at some point, either there was some movement or something where they went that was new or whatever it is. Then now they started having the babies, and he said, okay, you know what, since we're having these babies, you stay at home and look after these children. Let me go and hustle. And it worked well, but now the children are grown. But the woman is still sitting in the house. And it's like, why is she still sitting in the house? The children have grown. But she can't, you must sit down again the way you sat down to have the first conversation and say, leave this, I will support us, look after this. You must go back again and sit down and say, madam, now these children are all going to school. And I'm strained because I'm the one I have to do everything. So now I need your help. Come back now to the whatever. But what does that comeback look like? Because sometimes she's been out of work for 15 years. Things have changed. When you're at work, maybe they didn't have this. Now they have ChatGPT. They didn't have it when you were there. So now, what does coming back to work look like? And then chat, or whatever for, because don't think that some of these women are sitting at home because they're enjoying it. There's a bit of fear and some inferiority complex. Now imagine if I was working 15 years ago, I've not been in an office, I'm coming back now, and then these people have different jargon. Let's circle back, bring back, do what, set it on fire. They have different things that people can be speaking in English and you don't know what they're saying. So chat that way forward. All these things are so simple, but we expect people to know things from the sky. Like we've been here before. She's never been a wife before. You've never been a husband before. But now you're the way you sat down the first time, sit down. So there should not be a situation where one person feels like they're doing everything. There's some men who like it, where I don't want sitaki bibi yangu afanye kazi. But you must also realize it comes with certain things. If he doesn't want you to have a job, it's very demeaning even for a woman that I must ask even for money for pads or for tampons. You understand? So even if he doesn't want his wife to work, now you have to become a mjanja even you. Either you'll be pinching money for because you
for cabbages.
For cabbages, or he gives you an allowance or something like that. And then you also find something you can do with yourself and not just sit down and let time pass you. There's another man who insists that we must both work. Again, all these things, there's no manual. There's only like guidelines. It is important to, first of all, be with a friend, because the person you marry should not just be a lover. There must be a friend first, where you can have hard conversations.
Yeah. There's something interesting that you talk about in your book called the Fuck Fund.
Fuck you fund.
Fuck you fund.
Yes.
What is this about?
Now, that is the money that you have somewhere where you don't have to be in a situation, in a marriage, in a relationship that's not good for you because you don't have anything. And there are very many women like that. And if even that fuck you fund starts small, and these are things that we should teach our girls. I remember when I was young, my mother when I'd go out, the few times I was allowed to go out to the disco. The other times I just needed to go myself. But now it became something in my head. She'd give me 500 shillings, which I had to put in my sock in my shoe. As I'm sure Gen Zs are wondering, what were you doing with socks and shoes in our days when we were going to carnival? We wore jeans, baggy jeans, you had your sneakers, you had socks, you had a hoodie. As in we put on a lot of clothes. So I had a 500 bob that I had to put inside my sock in my shoe. In case these friends that I went out with, something happened. They decide now they don't want to drop you home. Or somebody decides everybody leaves you for some strange reason, or somebody says, I'm only taking you home if you go to my house. You know, that was the scenario in our days. A man could tell you, and there was no Uber that you're going to call. If you didn't have a taxi guy, the taxis were parked at those places or at home, and you needed a call box to call somebody, maybe another call box or to call home or something like that. So that was my fuck you money, where somebody says that I'm not taking you home unless we send up and you. I'm not in it. If I'm going to do something, it's because I want to do it. So you find, like, for a lot of us, we got married and we didn't have that fucky fund because us were given everything. If you made 500 bob, if you made 20 bob, it was known. You understand? You didn't keep any money outside. It becomes difficult to leave a marriage that no longer works for you or that is hurting you or killing you. Because you hear very many women say, so then what will I do? Where will I start? Yeah, you can start, but it's harder. But if you'd been putting away some money for a while, and imagine you have some 200,000 somewhere in some corner, and things are not working, you can at least get a house and have some rent. You're able to eat, and depending on how big that house is, maybe you have some 6 months or 3 months to be able to quickly organize yourself. If you don't have that money, life, you will make it. Nobody says you will not make it. It's just harder, and very many people don't get to it because you're always living in anxiety, you're always living in high pressure, you always have pressure. That's why you find a lot of women these days dying of stroke. They have high blood pressure, they have certain cancers and things like that. Yeah. So it's good for us to tell our children now, as much as we want the marriage to work, it might not work. Some marriages have worked in quotes because the woman could not go anywhere. So she had to conform. And by the time you can maybe go somewhere, the children are old, you're old, you say, even the path to my home, the grass has already grown there, I might not find where I came from. Yeah? So it is so important for women to look out for themselves. Yes, sometimes selfishness is not bad. It's actually good for you. And I think you're a better person, even a better partner, when you have money, when you have your own money, because then you will not. You don't fall for bad things, and then you say what you want early and people can figure you out early. Instead of pretending one day you're good because you need money, then tomorrow you're a devil when you have money, the next day you can be a devil throughout. And it's easier to be a devil than to be good.
You were telling women you can have an affair, no problem.
Why not?
Huh?
If it works for you, it works. You just figure it out. Now, the affair is not necessarily with a man. It could be with a man, it could be with a woman. It doesn't have to be physical. It could be emotional. It could be social. Like there's that affair can mean many things. It can mean getting your own hobby. What I'm really trying to say is get your life. Your life is not dependent on marriage. We have centered marriage so much that it's become harmful to women. Married women don't live as long as they used to live.
What's going on there?
There's just a lot of problems. First of all, we are pressurized into getting married. And you see it until now. So sometimes I have to keep checking the year. Is it 2024 or is it 1998? Because I don't understand. And you even see it with this Gen Z. So I sometimes wonder why we're not losing that part where you think when a woman reaches 25 now, she's old and useless. So you hear somebody say, ata aligonga 30. Na hana hajaolewa. Just like, what? 30? I'm 45 and my life is more active than I was when I was 20. Yeah, because I know better, I do better, and then again now, life is better. The expectancy for women can be better if we look after ourselves. Right now, you can eat better, you can get different medical treatments. It's readily accessible to you and things like that. But to hear somebody saying a girl is 25 and she's not married, ati huyo sasa wataanza kutafuta mabenten. Now you're wondering 25 you're not even fully developed. In fact, I think at 25 there's some teeth that will still grow. I don't think you still have all your teeth. Some teeth can still come out at 25. You understand? You are actually a baby. But we have that pressure on women. Get married. And then women want to marry at all costs. So you'll find somebody picking something and you're just like, oh my God.
Picking something, you mean a man?
Yes. And it can be a thing at that time. It could be something later, but at that time is a thing. Because also we're not at the same, we've not grown at the same pace because of different cultural and social backgrounds. Yeah. So getting into a relationship must really be a conscious thing. It must be done like getting into a business where you say, okay, if it doesn't work, what are my options? What happens if this partnership doesn't work? The same way you do a business contract, that if I come here and I do this work, you'll give me this. If this doesn't happen, this. If this, I can take you here. If I can't take you here, I'll take you there, that type of thing. We need to have that type of arrangement, and which we did way back because our aunties used to go and look for a partner for us, and they went knowing that this person is from this whatever. Maybe they pray to this. They don't eat mbuta. They don't do that type of thing, and they made the best connection for you. But because we believe in a lot of rubbish, we think opposites attract. That's only for magnets, not for human beings. You need a similar person. Yes, opposites don't attract. You're not a magnet. You have to keep telling yourself that you're not a magnet. The same way you have friends, platonic friends. Do you go for somebody who's completely your opposite? That's your platonic, yes, because you want somebody you can spend time with. We both like this, we'll go together. We like to listen to Rumba, we'll go to listen to Rumba. When we're sharing, we'll be sharing links to a Rumba song, we'll be sharing lyrics, that type of thing. We like wine or to drink or to dance, we'll be going, because similar, you look for somebody with similar attributes. Why is it that when you're choosing the person who's going to be closest to you, this is somebody you sleep with every night, who you give access to your body, somebody who's completely different from you? How does that make sense? Now, him is going to the bar, I'm at home, and I'm crying all the time because I don't
what do you do when they have the resources and they're polar apart from you?
You must make decisions. That's why we said from the beginning, if you don't want to end up with, because even that thing of having fuck you money is a trauma-based response. It's trauma. So you get in and you realize, oops, I married the wrong. Start putting away fuck your money because the time is coming. It's not going to whatever. But we always know that when somebody is there, is yours or not. Many people last in marriage. You can't say, oh, but my mother stayed in marriage. Did you ask her if she was happy or if she wanted to or if she had nowhere to go?
I've always asked whether my mother was ever happy in that marriage.
Yeah.
I've never always asked.
And did she ever answer you?
No. She passed on before I could ask her that question.
But you think she was happy?
No.
And you could see it?
She was under duress.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of marriages last because women have nowhere to go.
Let's talk about our in-laws. His people will be my people.
And I said, you are not, who are the Naomi and
do you have an experience with in-laws? Do you what are people telling you about in-laws? See, Dialogues with Jagero is also talking about your experiences.
Yes.
Wewe usijifiche sana. Wewe nimegundua unajificha sana.
Kidogo tu. So I can't say my experience with in-laws wasn't my personal experience. Wasn't too bad, wasn't too good. One, because at least they were not so close. And my marriage wasn't that long either. So it wasn't, I didn't have like a lot of altercations. A lot of my problems, I think for me, even in marriage, was after the marriage, after the fact. My problems with a lot of them, even my ex, was after the marriage. So in-laws are never going to be your people. They have their relatives. And you must be so sure that you must not...
You don't count as a relative?
You're not a relative. If anything, you're a stranger. Your children are their relatives. You are always going to be a stranger.
As the woman and as the man?
As the woman, yes. But you see, for us, we feel it more as women because we move to the man's home. He doesn't move to ours. So you see, him and my people can be okay because they rarely see each other. But now I'm expected to, these are now my people. They keep telling us that, but we know it's not the truth. Yeah. So if the mother-in-law comes to town, where will she sleep? At ours. She can't sleep at her daughter's place. She'll sleep at her son's house. His siblings will be, so we, as the women, the reason why women have problems with the in-laws is because we move where they're strangers. And you realize that I'll be married somewhere, but I'll always be Nyagem. Nyagemcha. I'll never be.
Nyakutino.
Yes.
Nyakwanye. Nyaloka.
Yes, I'll never be near that place that I am. My children belong there. Those are, so if anything I'm getting from that home, I get on the strength of these kids.
Until today, you're just you've put you've thrown the spanner into how I've been thinking about it. It's never been. I thought it was an endearing kind of phrase.
It is, but it's sobering.
It's sobering.
It's sobering. It reminds that nani huko si kwenyu. You are here for a reason. The only things that will keep you here are these children and that man. So you can imagine if you are somebody from a poor background, or maybe there's nothing, maybe you're enough, maybe there's nothing, your home, maybe you don't even know your home. Yeah? The only thing that keeps you here, that gives you family, and I find very many women, I've now managed to understand certain women who you see them really fighting to be somewhere, and you're like, Nani, si okay, that's not your home. But then there's a lot that goes into it. If you didn't have family, you're now seeing family. You're not part of something. And as human beings, we always want to belong. You want to be part of something. So you see these people, they are these brothers and sisters, and their father, mother, they have this home, whatever, and you're coming from somewhere that you don't have that. I know of women that I have forgiven now. Yeah. Because I've forgiven, I hate that word forgiven, because I hate forgiving. I've understood the women that I've understood now, who are even then in my exes, like the circle in life, maybe some are even still there, why they really wanted to be part of family. When you now go back and find out their background, you find somebody who didn't even know their own father. You lived in a home where you were maybe with a stepfather. So you didn't really belong. Yes, you had your mother, but you didn't belong in this home because you had a stepfather. Now you meet this man and you take him to the in-laws, and mother-in-laws these days are very wicked. The ones who have sons, and I keep saying, God, I hope I have a son. So
why do you think they're weak? Where do they get this wickedness from?
Again, it's all just trauma. So most women again will hold on to their sons because they didn't have that love from the son's father type thing. When you look at, and I don't want to mention the name because there's a certain artist, Tanzanian artist, who really suffered with his mother. And his mother really holds on to him. And she's doing well now because of her son, who's also doing very well. And the man has multiple children and multiple women. He's all over the place. But the mother never reprimands him. The mother's like his sidekick. It's like that. It's like the whatever. But you understand her. And you understand him. You don't condone what they're doing, but it makes sense. Like they probably need some type of therapy, whatever it is, but you understand it. You see, oh, okay, I can see how this works. Yeah. So you see now, a lot of men, even now, their mothers are their sidekicks. Somebody was saying there's some homes that they're like lodgings. This woman comes and leaves, the next woman comes, and all of them, the mother is calling, oh, my daughter, my daughter, my daughter. And she has had 10 daughters that week from this boy of hers. But all of them come, and because somebody maybe has come from a place that has their own traumas, now they're here, and this woman is like, oh, my daughter, you have come, and the old woman runs after chicken, slaughters the chicken, puts for you water to bed. You think, hey, I've arrived. And that time she's even this command you're with is saying, you're the first one my mother has ever liked. So you think you have reached. You don't know that when you leave, there's another my daughter who comes again with the first one, then whatever, yeah. So now I understand a lot of these women who would go to homes where this man has a wife, and you think that his mother loves you more than his wife. You don't know that those two are in cahoots. Him and his mother are the same thing. She doesn't love you. Yeah. So that's the type of thing that you find now when a woman has nowhere to go. Again, I keep insisting. Matters of love, marriage, relationships must be very conscious, very sober. No opposites. They don't attract. Understand your traumas so that you know why you are latching on to somebody.
It's very nice talking to you. I have some cards here called So. I don't know. You want to pick? They are not sex things.
Okay. And I'm not going to give away any family secrets.
Family?
Secrets.
They are not family. This is called So. I don't even know. I'm not into this world, so these things I learned them in the city. So probably just look at 2 or 3, but I'm just randomly, and then whip it, and then
pick. No, let me pick for myself.
You can pick for yourself. How do you pick?
I thought you were going to shuffle them and then.
They are shuffled. There's nobody has arranged them.
So I pick one.
Yeah. What does it say?
What's something about your life now that you'd miss when you're 80?
That you'll miss when you're 80?
Yeah. I'm really praying my eyesight doesn't become worse than it is. So I'd miss my eyesight. I'm praying my hips don't give up because I'd miss dancing.
Rumba.
That's it. I'd really miss
You dance rumba every other day, every day?
Almost every weekend I'll be somewhere dancing rumba.
Really?
Allow them. I'm chasing music.
You're chasing music? You want to take another one?
Sure, why not? This was a nice one. I thought there were those things about truth or dare.
Oh, no, I don't like those ones. Truth or dare? How are you going to dare those things, by the way?
No, I don't do those truth or dare. I was wondering about those. So this one says, in what ways are you privileged?
That's a good one, yeah? Hey, you don't want a man in your life. That's how privileged you are.
No, I want a man. Who said I don't want a man? Please.
You want a man? What kind of man? Give me the profile of that man. I'll get him for you.
55 plus. You must
Hey,
give
wow,
him. I don't know this
No,
year
50?
No, 55 is good. 55, 54.
The ones without hips.
Without him. Utasema poa. No. Of course, he's looked after himself.
Hey, I'm in the gym.
These days wanaenda gym kidogo, wanafanya. Well, at least they're moving. Yeah. No, 55 is good.
Is it?
55.
You know, sometimes I'm 42 and sometimes I feel like I'm really old.
Maybe you're an old soul.
And what? Surely.
Umeona mengi.
Oh yeah,
So
that
you
too,
become
right?
tired. Yeah, you become jaded. Umeona mingi sasa umechoka. No, 55 is good for me. 55. Height, I'm not interested in
What
height.
kind of man is he? What is he doing? Is retired?
But yeah, by 55, you should not still be doing 9 to 5. But you can still do that 9 to 5 if you want. But somebody who loves to read, who loves to travel. Rumba is a must. If you don't listen to Rumba,
Ama ikwe tu anapenda music, si ndio?
Upanda Rumba because I love Rumba. And there's something about people who listen to Rumba. I don't know, maybe I'm biased. But there's something about Rumba.
You know my gripe with rumba? I don't understand shit.
But music is music. Then the more you listen to it, then you want to understand.
And then the other thing also about rumba is that as a child I grew up with that kind of music as immorality songs.
Because of the way they were gyrating.
Yes.
But that is suko.
And how much the church hated it.
Yeah.
How are you privileged?
I'm a woman and an African woman. I think that's a privilege for me.
That's privilege.
That's a privilege for me that I know where I'm from. I can take you to my village. I can show you my father's grave. I can show you my grandfather's grave.
Where is it?
I can show you my great-grandfather's grave.
Where are your people?
Ahono Green. That's in game.
Ahono. Ahono in game.
In game.
Which game?
Game Yasiaya. Not
the other one.
Not the other one. So those people must have left ours and went that way and started their small Ahono. I mean a small game.
We were supposed to pick 5.
Yes.
So we are remaining with
3.
3. Okay. You can shuffle and pick. So what does that one say?
If you became a leader of a country, what would the press say about you? Oh my God, I feel so sorry for that country.
You can do well. You've got.
I might be celebrating and forget to come and lead. Akina Palipupa would be
Rumba State House kila siku. Vile Zakayo analetanga wale wa upili wake.
Sasa mimi akina Fali watakuwa hapo busy. Tunaimba kutoka morning mpaka evening. Good be dancing. Can't forget to lead the country. So please, country, whichever you are, don't select me as your leader.
Let me pick this one for you. What is the one phrase you wish you could ban from everyone's vocabulary?
Wife material.
Oh.
Because what is that?
You can be a wife material.
I'm not a wife material. I'm a Felgonah material. Yeah, so you take me how you take me. Vile nitakuja hivyo.
So 1 is remaining.
1.
So you can pick. Oh, you pick from the top. Yeah. Okay.
How well would you get along with someone exactly like you? Oh my God, it would cause problems.
Rumba, coffee kila siku. Have you thought about going to Congo and just?
I have. In fact, there's a friend of mine who wants to host me. She thinks she's Congolese, so she thinks I was born Congo. I got lost somewhere. Congolese, I got lost somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's one of my. For me, it'd be like a pilgrimage to go to the graves. The greats, go to Franco's, Madilu's, Joski, all those, Akina Shalamwana, go to their graves and talk to the dead, because I listen to the dead a lot anyway.
You listen to the dead?
So they're dead people, their songs.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Yeah.
So coming to the end of this discussion, which was really fulfilling and satisfying, I loved every bit of it. If people were to see your work, buy you any book, where will they go?
So I have an ebook.
Yeah.
You can get that on the Nuria app, Nuria, the bookshop.
Nuria sells ebooks.
Yes.
They do?
Yes, they do. They need to pay me for this. People don't know you sell ebooks.
I have never known. I use Hustle Sasa and it is very bad.
Yeah.
Hustle Sasa is one of the worst
Go to Nuria.
marketplaces
Oh my
to sell anything.
No, go to Nuria. I love Nuria. They are so. I love their personal touch.
Really?
I'll give you contacts immediately.
Yeah, because I'm looking at places to sell my ebooks.
I know, because I also suffered. I was on another one that
Yeah.
caused me so much hell. You meet people outside. I sent money for your book. I didn't get it.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are calling me. And then the
Yeah.
funny thing with hustler.com, I don't know what it's called. They put your number there.
So people call you and they want
Yes.
to eat you. They think you're a con man.
Anywhere, if you have a problem with a purchase, that is the number you call.
But why would they call your number and you don't run the platform? Because you don't. How would you?
That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
So people are
Can't do
calling you, I've
support,
not gotten the book, I've not done this, blah, blah, blah.
And then now you're there.
And they are
trying to-
telling me they are calling Hustle Sasa and they never pick phone calls. Hustle Sasa needs to wake up. And you know what they do when you're selling ebooks? They send a link that can be opened by anybody.
No, go to Nuria. Go to Nuria. And it's local. The best thing, it's local.
Yeah.
So and
This
there's a place
is
you can
Hustle
go.
Sasa people, you don't know them?
I don't know them. But they know them. They know that at the hustler. Remember that?
Yeah. I think Hustle Sasa, you guys need to wake up. It's not nice. I am using you because I have no alternative.
I'm giving you one.
Yeah.
So Nuria needs to pay me for this good
Yeah.
work I'm doing.
Thank you very much, people of the internet. Please consider subscribing. I have a lot of people who are watching my podcast, but they're not subscribers. If I had only 2 subscribers, Felgonah Oyuga would not be here. So please, I want to get
beware.
Pluto on this podcast. I want to get, there are a couple of people that I want to get on this podcast. And if they see my numbers swelling, they would be like, oh, there is something good here. So if you like my podcast, please consider subscribing, hit on that notification bell. I'm using a lot of resources to build this podcast for people. If you want to send me money, please do. My M-Pesa is there on the description. My till is there in the description. My bank account is not there, but I'm working on putting it up there. I want people who can buy me, mics. If you can buy me a light stand, if you can buy me this, you can't just come here and take from me and you're not giving me back. Until another episode. Bye for now.